April 4th, and it's day 2. I just got home from work and immediately hopped in the shower because germs. So I'm feeling refreshed and clean and ready to just recenter and kind of unwind for the evening. So this video is going to be a recap of the next 29 days of the From Scarcity to Abundance meditation journey. So day 2 is all about becoming aware of your thoughts and recognizing that we have these loop recorder vicious cycle thoughts that are almost automatic, but becoming aware of these without even just trying to change them, but just becoming aware of like where your mind goes is the first step, and it will unearth a lot more later. But he encouraged us to write down any of these thoughts and like the anxieties that your mind can produce from them just automatically without thinking, and to kind of see how ridiculous some of those are, and stop giving your power away to them, because over time they can gain power and control your words and your actions. So my personal journaling that I wrote, I said so much of when I get anxiety stems from the fear that I will be limited or deprived. Deep down, I know I have enough to live a beautiful life, but my thoughts wander to not having enough opportunity, time, money, freedom to see it all, explore, enjoy myself, be stimulated and entertained and fulfilled. All things outside of myself and my basic needs and my closest relationships with God and others are just bonuses, and I have so much to be grateful for and content with right now. Because I feel like so many of the questions that I have, or like the concerns, are like, well, what if I can't do this? Or how can I ensure that I'll have this in the future? I'll be able to do this. So a lot more future minded instead of present and content. So those are my day 2 thoughts. Pardon my dog. I gave him a bone and I told him to go to his bed, and then he kept coming to my yoga mat. He's so cute. He's gonna get slobbery. Day 3 was called Shift Your Self-Image. And it was about creating skillful rituals, habits with an intention. So yesterday was becoming just aware of the negative thoughts you have, and today was about counteracting these and viewing all your negative thoughts through the lens of the heart and having a different mantra or affirmation that you use. So he says the heart is wise, joyous, loving, and compassionate. And to try to start to plant those kinds of seeds instead of your negative ones. And offer yourself words of wisdom. So some of the ones he offered were, I know enough and I am enough. I'm loving and lovable. I said, I will work enough to have more than enough, and what I have right now is beautiful and blessed. Good morning, it's day 4. I'm almost to work. It's 6:15 in the morning. I actually got called off work again, but Tim was able to take my call off, so he's gonna stay at home and rest, and I'm gonna work today, which is good. But I was feeling a little disappointed that I couldn't work. So I thought that maybe I'd do my meditation in the morning. So I was able to stretch for a couple minutes before I got in the car. Today's class was called Notice Your Vocabulary, and it just asked you to be mindful of all these absolute locked-in statements that you make and how others can validate that. And if you're around other people, how you may validate their catastrophic statements as well. So it's just making a promise to watch these words they use, especially when you're interacting with others. It's really bright, so I'm gonna lay down here. Not gonna lie, I had a really bad day yesterday. 2 of my patients died, which is always really sucky, and I hate that, and I'm sad. And then also I'm just so mad at some people in our hospital I don't want to say who, but no one is advocating for our safety, for our well-being, and they're making these silly rules that are irrelevant, and it's coming from people who don't even see patients, so they don't even do patient care. It's like they don't know what they're talking about. And Tim's hours are gonna start to be cut as well. So not only am I not working, but now he will have fewer hours. Hopefully not enough to affect us a ton, but it was just a bad day and I felt really sassy and feisty, and I'm still kind of bitter and angry. So I'm about to start my meditation and I hope it helps. So day 5, I wasn't like really feeling it, obviously, but it did help. It was called Stop Comparing Yourself to Others. Focusing on what we don't have is the quickest way to get trapped in a scarcity mindset. So just some of the tips he gave were to take a day off of social media and TV, which I do from time to time and actually helps a lot. I kind of gave it up for Lent. I started late and then I ended a week early, but I really like doing that from time to time. Super helpful. Don't get into practices that water seeds of jealousy or envy, because everything is imprinting your mind. And then make a list of things you're grateful for today. Be as specific and detailed as possible, which is nice. It's nice to think about waking up healthy, my husband, my dog, sunshine, spring, the fact that he traveled to work safely today and I got home from work safely yesterday, and being able to move and breathe. There's a lot of great things, so it is a good reminder. Day 6, celebrate the achievement of others. There's not an unlimited amount of resources when it comes to achievements or success or beauty or relationships, so don't think that there is. We have an innate ability to be happy for others and celebrate all of their goodness. So he had us do an exercise where we pick someone that we're like jealous of or feel in competition with, and instead of having those feelings, switch it to being happy for them and rejoicing in their success, their beauty, their relationships, all those things. And I honestly couldn't think of anyone in real life. It was just social media, so that was kind of eye-opening. And then try to rejoice in your own goodness. So day 7 was called Stop Seeking Instant Gratification. And he just had us look at these strategies that we use to meet our basic needs and fulfill our purposes. So how do we feel we belong? How do we feel loved? How do we cope with pain and suffering? How do we feel safe in ourselves and our financial situation? How do we experience freedom, longing of the heart, and self-actualization? So, just think of the ways that you try to feel like yourself or feel like you belong. Or feel like you get your needs met. And I could just think of a few habits that aren't necessarily the most positive. Not super self-detrimental, like crazy, but things add up. And then the mantra or the lesson at the end was, I'm willing to look at these strategies for reaching my basic needs, and I'm willing to redesign these strategies so that they are based in the heart. So yeah, I'm more of an instant gratification kind of gal, I guess. I'm just kind of impulsive, and I don't know what, I feel it with busyness or activity, or in the past, like food, like I mentioned. Sometimes alcohol, I'm not like a big drinker, but it's like, okay, at the end of the day, let me just have a glass or two of wine and kind of numb myself that way. Or as I said before, buying things to look a certain way, to look good, to feel like I belong or are accepted. So those were some of mine. Good morning, it's 6 a.m. I'm almost to work, and day 8 was learn to view setbacks as opportunities, and I would say I'm trying. I definitely had a crummy attitude the first 4 or 5 days, but yesterday and today I'm trying to be a little more positive, roll with the punches, just be thankful for each day and, whatever it brings. So I'm getting there. The homework assignment is to think of one traumatizing event and think of 3 positive things that you learned from that. So instead of having a victim mindset. Day 9, practice an attitude of gratitude, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not feeling it whatsoever. I know it had a great message, and I know I have a lot of things I can be grateful for, but I'm just not feeling it today. Just a little stressed. So I listened to it, but I did not really commit to it. He walked us through, the classic serenity prayer, God grant me the peace to accept things I can't change, so that thing. But he said, I have made peace with the things that I cannot change. I have the courage to change the things that I can. I have the wisdom to know the difference. So, I feel like we've all heard that before, and it's beautiful when you think about it. Having peace with things you can't change, having courage to change things you can, and then wisdom to know the difference. That's pretty good. But I honestly, as a Christian, just prefer to keep the God part in it, because I feel like none of this can be done without His Spirit. So my personal opinion. And then at the end, he taught us a breathing technique, which I'll have to look up if this is true. He said if you just breathe through your left nostril and close up your right nostril, that it activates your parasympathetic nervous system. So instead of your fight or flight, intense one, this is your more calm, relaxing nervous system. So that can allow you to be proactive and calm as opposed to reactive and explosive. I'm probably sideways or diagonal, but that's okay. I just finished day 12 and I really liked this one. It was called Disentangling Negative Emotions from Your Goals. So I don't want to give away his whole exercise because that's his, he made it up, but you think of a goal, a concrete one, and then you ask yourself what's holding you back from that goal, or what are your barriers, and then like I said, I'm not going to give away the details, but you move from fear to trust, from self-judgment to acceptance, from confusion to clarity, from resentment to forgiveness, and from unworthiness to unconditionally worthy. So you're just trying to cultivate the positive attributes regularly. Think of your mind as a garden and you're watering the good things. So ask yourself if you're thinking with those good things, speaking with those good things, and acting with those good things, as opposed to the negative ones. Days 20 and 21 were about greed and generosity, respectively. I listened to both of them today on the drive home, and yeah, that's something I struggle with a lot. I find myself to be a very greedy person, and I don't know when it started or why it started. I feel like maybe it has to do with when my parents got divorced. Me and my sisters were really put in the middle of some financial struggles or arguments, and that was really tough. But since then I've had a tighter grip on money, on possessions, on collecting things. Just, I don't know, I hold things with a tighter hand than I would want to. And Tim and I, we do tithe, which means we give a portion of our income back to the church, and although we do that, I honestly have trouble with it emotionally sometimes. Or some months there's oh, we have all this other stressful stuff going on, maybe we shouldn't tithe. My mind goes there sometimes. So, but Saw de Simone was saying, generous people are abundant people, and generosity is a way to unlock your true nature and your true essence and just become a loving, caring, compassionate, giving person. So definitely something I want to work on for sure. Day 22 is called Find the Silver Lining. And I wanted to share 2 quotes that he shared with us. So Carl Jung said, if you can't find the meaning in your suffering, it's because of your neurosis. Find a meaning, find a lesson, find the positive. And then Buddha said, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. So this is a good lesson right now because everyone is going through stuff for sure. I can't imagine what some people are going through, but at the same time, we have our own things right now. It's stressful, but pain is inevitable. Jesus said that in the Bible, like, in this world you will have suffering, but take heart. He is with you, his presence is with you, and that in turn can change your attitude. It can change, the spirit can change your outlook. So just try to find the silver lining in things. He had us write down 3 things that have happened in the past week or 2 that have been negative, and then find 2 positives from that. So obviously mine is being called off work every day. So that's bad. That's a negative, that's a challenge for multiple reasons. But the 2 positives I could find from it are life has finally slowed down a bit. Because Tim and I are taking turns working now, so we're really only working 20 hours a week each. So we have time to just slow down a little bit and to read and to take a bath and to do all these things, which is nice. And then the other positive is because we don't have that like reliable income, it is forcing me painfully, but good, in a good way, to just take a look at how I'm spending money, which is important, and to not think that more possessions or more experiences will necessarily fulfill me. There's a good lesson from that. Day 26, needs versus wants inventory. Such an important lesson for me. So needs are sustainable and based on abundance mindset, whereas wants are entertainment and can lead to scarcity mindset. Not all the time, but they definitely can lead there. So he just shared some of his needs column. Actually, this is all his, but I identified with all of them. So community and belonging, intimacy and companionship, learning, equality, inspiration, contribution, exploration, transparency, and play. And obviously the basic needs of food and shelter. And then this is kind of a combination of his wants and my wants. I just made one column. Anything related to appearance, like he said, he wanted whiter teeth. My appearance wants are slightly different, but technology, a bigger house or nice things to put in your house, travel or a specific type of travel. Like he said, first class. I'm like, I don't need first class, but I like to travel. Clothes or shoes, food or supplements. Those were some of mine. So he asked us to just look at which of these wants are we getting caught up in. Some of these wants aren't bad things, but when they lead to you feeling like you can never have enough, that's a bad thing. Or if they lead to you not being present and content, that is a negative thing. So not only that part, but what are some of the needs then that you are neglecting? So maybe you're getting so caught up in some of these wants that you're neglecting your need for belonging or to learn. Instead of scrolling and comparing, maybe like read a book and learn some things. So, or go call someone on the phone that you haven't talked to and connect with someone. Yeah, it's hard stuff to learn, but there is definitely like a clear delineation of needs and wants. And it's stuff that I know, it's just stuff that when you write it out, you're like, yeah, that makes more sense now. Day 27, practice the art of visualization. So we did a breathing technique, and then he had us just write down what our idea of abundance looks like, and then greet each of those pieces of your abundance and say, like, I am worthy of you, or something along those lines. So I will share what my idea of abundance looks like. This is totally word vomit, like not organized at all, but it's just what I jotted down. So what does abundance look like to you? I said an energetic, healthy body, able to work at a semi-meaningful job a few days a week, and also enjoy time off work with friends and family, exploring and playing, traveling, learning and bettering and uncovering myself, and deepening my marriage and relationships, enjoying God's creation and beauty and encouraging others to do the same. Mental and physical health comes naturally. I have just enough social time and just enough alone time. I am grateful for my possessions and have a simple, cozy home. Effort and rest. Contributing in my own unique way to helping people and living out my passion. I can look inward and find joy, love, presence, and contentment at any time. Sounds nice. And those things are doable. They are achievable. And they're more simple. They're like deeper but more simple than you would think they are. Day 29. Practice equanimity. So he described equanimity as an ability to see ourselves and the world with patience, because impatience is the default mode of scarcity mindset. And I was like, I'm so impatient. Like that is definitely something I can see in myself. You know, if I don't get what I want or what I think is right or fair or whatever, like right away, then I get really worked up. So I know that cultivating patience is something I can work on. I do believe I am getting better at it. I will say that. And then another little tip he had from his experience in a monastery was to, like, I guess every 20 minutes they would ring a bell. And when that bell rang, you would pause, breathe, and smile, no matter what you were doing. So pausing gives the ability to re-enter the present moment. Breathing redesigns our nervous system in a way that helps it heal and relax. And then smiling allows us to access joy. So pause, breathe, and smile. And with that, we have completed the 30-day journey from scarcity mindset to abundance mindset. And I just wanted to share some final closing thoughts. I won't talk too much because you probably have heard my thoughts throughout this video, but I really, really liked this course. Definitely some of the things he shared were eye-opening, some were challenging, and some were things that I already know that I need to work on, but it's just a good reminder. So I just am getting a better understanding of, like, what's the point of complaining? Because yes, hard times are going to happen no matter what to everyone in different ways. But what does complaining help with? Like, either act and do something to change the things you can change, and if not, then have a more peaceful, content mindset about it. So it helps to not compare your situation to others. Social media is a big part of that. So, you know, I will continue to take breaks from that here and there. I think that's really a healthy habit. Also, just looking at what you have here and now in your relationships, in your basic needs being met, in the ability to look inwards, to learn about yourself, to connect on a deeper level, spiritually, all that is there. And everything else is just a bonus, is just a want. And it's great, it's exciting, it's wonderful, but if you don't have it, you're still okay. So I just feel like in the past few years, maybe I've lost some of my like true nature and I've become a little more grumbly, and that's totally not me at all. So I'm opening my eyes to that and trying to be just more positive and grateful, and at peace with things. So this course has been really good. I also like to bring some scripture into it as well, because as I said, I am a Christian, so I feel like none of this is separate from God for me. Any goodness I have, any strength I have, wisdom, all comes from Him. So yes, we are wonderfully made and beautiful creatures, but it's because of Him. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. And I hope maybe you learned a thing or two along the way.